Have you ever held something in your hand that looked so small, so ordinary, yet was worth more than a house? Today, we are diving into a secret world. A world where a dime could be a doorway to wealth beyond imagination. You might have one of these treasures lying quietly in a drawer, inside a forgotten coin jar, or tucked away in an old family box. A piece of silver history that's silently growing in value every single day. These are the most valuable Mercury dimes ever discovered. 10 coins that have stunned collectors, broken auction records, and rewritten what we thought we knew about rare US coins. But here's the thing. The real value of these dimes isn't just in silver. It's in their story. Their scars, their mint marks, their mysterious layers. Every detail tells a tale of America's past, of wartime scarcity, of artistic brilliance, and of hidden wealth waiting to be uncovered. Stay with me, because as we count down these 10 coins, each one will take you deeper into a world of mystery, history, and unbelievable fortune. And trust me, when we reach number 1, you will never look at a coin the same way again. So tighten your seatbelt, coin hunters. This is CoinX USA, and today we are unlocking the vault of America's hidden silver treasures. Coin number 1. Our journey begins with a coin that carries the soul of the Roaring Twenties, the 1926 Mercury dime, struck at the legendary San Francisco Mint, proudly marked with that tiny but mighty S. But here's where it gets intriguing. This isn't just any 1926 dime. This one has a mysterious black layer, a natural patina that's become almost mythic among collectors. It's as if time itself wrapped this coin in a secret cloak, preserving its legacy through nearly a century of history. Now, let's rewind the clock. The year is 1926. Jazz is echoing through America's cities. The stock market is soaring, and the US Mint is crafting dimes that would soon become icons of American artistry. Designed by the legendary Adolph A. Weinman, the Mercury dime represents freedom of thought, strength, and resilience, a nation's spirit struck in 90% silver. And this particular San Francisco issue, it came from a mint that produced fewer coins than the bustling Philadelphia Mint. Every S-marked coin was born in the Golden City, a limited batch, a whisper of rarity in the silver winds of history. Now imagine this. Only a handful of these 1926 S Mercury dimes survived in fine condition with their original luster and black oxidation intact. That unique dark sheen isn't damage. It's a badge of honor, a natural shield that formed over decades, enhancing its mystery and magnifying its value. Collectors crave it. Auction houses chase it. When a true 1926 S Mercury dime in fine condition surfaces, the bidding floor doesn't just buzz, it erupts. There's electricity in the air, because everyone in that room knows they're witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime find. This isn't a coin you stumble upon, it's a coin that chooses its collector. Every detail, from the strike to the wear, tells a silent story of survival through the Great Depression, through wars, through the transformation of America itself. And when one of these treasures hit the auction block recently, the room went silent and then exploded in disbelief when the hammer dropped at an astounding $174,000. Yes, $174,000 for a dime that could fit on your fingertip. Let that sink in. This isn't fantasy. This isn't fiction. This is real, living, breathing American history turning into wealth before our eyes. And the market? It is climbing. The value of coins like this is rising day by day, and experts predict that this could just be the beginning. So if you ever come across a 1926 dime with that tiny S below the torch and a mysterious blackened tone that almost glows under light, don't rush to clean it. Don't overlook it. you might just be holding a piece of treasure, a slice of time that could change your financial story forever. Because in the world of rare coins, every scratch, every mint mark, every shadow tells you one thing. This is not just silver. This is history crystallized in metal. Collectors, take note. Protect these coins. Store them carefully, document them, and never underestimate their power. The 1926 Mercury dime is not merely a collectible, it's a gateway to legacy, to wealth, and to the enduring magic of American minting. And remember, we're just getting started. The next coin on our list. Well, let's just say if you thought $174,000 was impressive, wait till you see what's coming next. So stay right here, because this treasure hunt is about to get even more unbelievable. This is CoinX USA, your daily portal to hidden wealth, forgotten treasures, and the unbelievable stories behind America's rarest coins. Coin number 2. Now, as we move to our second coin, things take a turn into the shadows of history. The year is 1943. The world is at war. Factories roar day and night. Soldiers march across continents. And the American Mint is producing coinage not just for commerce, but as a symbol of strength and unity. And in the midst of that chaos emerged a dime that seemed almost touched by mystery itself. The 1943 Mercury dime with the D mint mark struck in Denver became a legend not just for its scarcity, but for the secrets it seems to carry beneath its blackened surface. That's right. This coin bears a dark, natural patina, a shadowy hue that tells its own story. Over 8 decades of existence, the silver has aged gracefully, absorbing time, environment, and human touch until it developed a black shade that collectors today revere like an ancient armor. It's not just a color, it's a testament, a silent whisper of where this coin has been, through war rations, through the ration books of 1943, through the pockets of workers building the engines of victory. But here's what truly makes this coin stand out. 1943 was a mass production year for the US. Mint, but not in Denver. While Philadelphia produced millions of Mercury dimes, Denver's output was a fraction of that, and most were circulated so heavily that few survived in fine condition. And fewer still developed this mesmerizing black sheen, a rare chemical reaction between the silver and decades of atmospheric exposure. So when collectors spot one of these, with its sharp, dignified portrait of liberty and the delicate D mint mark glimmering just below the facets, on the reverse it stops them cold. This isn't just a coin. It's a wartime relic, a tangible piece of America's resilience, preserved in 10-cent silver. Let's talk history. The Mercury dime design, first struck in 1916, carried the image of liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. But by 1943, this image carried even more weight. It was no longer just artistic, it was patriotic. Each dime represented the belief that America could triumph even in its darkest hour. And yet, despite being struck during one of the most significant years in United States history, the 1943 D Mercury dime remains one of the hardest to find in untouched, fine condition. Most were melted down, lost to circulation, or tarnished beyond recovery. But the few that survived, they are breathtaking. Now picture this. One of these coins, held under a collector's light, glinting softly beneath that black shade, the details still crisp after 80 years. It's mesmerizing, almost spiritual. And when one like this appears at auction, silence fills the room. Bidders lean in, knowing that what they are seeing is not just silver, it is a frozen moment of American history. When the hammer falls, the price shocks everyone. Because this unassuming dime, this tiny 1943 D Mercury dime, wearing its black battle scars proudly, recently shattered expectations, commanding a jaw-dropping $152,000 at auction. Yes, $152,000 for a coin smaller than your thumb. And that's not an exaggeration. That's a documented current valuation, verified across major coin auction houses. This coin has become a true powerhouse in the rare coin market, and experts say its trajectory is only going up. The value of this coin is increasing every single day, gaining momentum as collectors realize how few of these fine-condition examples truly exist. Think about it. If you were to find one, just one of these 1943 D black-toned Mercury dimes sitting unnoticed in an old coin jar or tucked inside a forgotten wallet, you wouldn't just be discovering silver. You'd be uncovering a treasure, a piece of America's wartime heart, and possibly the start of a financial story that could rewrite your destiny. The black shade that wraps this coin isn't damage, it's character. It's the mark of endurance, the fingerprint of time. That is what gives this coin its soul, and what collectors across the nation are desperately searching for. So if you ever come across a Mercury dime, dated 1943, with a small D just beside the base of the facets, pause. Don't polish it. Don't brush it. Protect it, because that black layer could be worth more than gold, literally. Consult a reputable coin dealer. Authenticate it. Grade it. And understand that you're holding something extraordinary, a relic that bridges the wartime 1940s to the modern world of high-stakes numismatics. Coins like this remind us that history isn't just written in books, it's stamped in metal. Every Mercury dime is a story. But the 1943 D, that's a legend. And as the market continues to surge, this legend is becoming one of the hottest treasures in the collector's world. So never underestimate the little things, because sometimes it's the smallest pieces that hold the greatest fortunes. And we're only on coin number 2. If you thought $152,000 was astonishing, what's coming next will leave you absolutely speechless. Stay locked in, because we're about to uncover a Mercury dime, so rare it redefines the word valuable. This is CoinX USA, your daily source for hidden treasures, record-breaking finds, and the stories behind America's most valuable coins. Subscribe right now, because tomorrow's coin might just be your ticket to a lifetime of fortune. Coin number 3. When we talk about rare coins, most collectors chase mint marks, those little letters that tell us where a coin was born. But what if I told you the absence of a mark could mean more? The 1924 Mercury dime without a mint mark is one of those mysterious exceptions, a coin that hides its origin but radiates value. This unassuming dime struck in Philadelphia, the only U.S. mint that left its dimes unmarked, carries within it a whisper of the Jazz Age, a time when America danced on the edge of wealth and uncertainty. The country was in transition. The war was long over. The Roaring Twenties were thundering through every street corner, every jazz club, every headline. And in the heart of it all, the Philadelphia Mint produced dimes that gleamed like liquid silver. The design still the work of the genius Adolph A. Weinman, Lady Liberty, wearing her winged cap, symbolizing free thought and freedom itself. But this 1924 edition was different. Something about its strike, its texture, and its chemistry made a select few develop a distinct pattern of brown oxidation spots, small, delicate freckles that tell a story of time and authenticity. Collectors today call them brown dot ghosts, because in the right light, those brown dots seem to shift and move, almost like the past itself is alive inside the silver. Now, while millions of Mercury dimes were produced in the 1920s, few from 1924 survived the decades in fine condition. The Great Depression followed, and countless coins were melted down, reminted, or lost forever in circulation. But every so often a survivor emerges. A coin whose details remain crisp, Liberty's curls still visible, the wings still sharp, and across its surface, those subtle brown tones tell a story of untouched, natural aging. Collectors crave this particular tone. It's not damage, it's heritage. It's the signature of a century gone by. And here's what makes it even more remarkable. While the lack of a mint mark might seem ordinary, it's exactly that subtle anonymity that adds mystery. It's a coin with no home, no mark to tell you where it came from, only the proof of its endurance to tell you what it's worth. Imagine finding one of these in a family coin box, the metal darkened by time, those faint brown dots barely catching the light. You'd think nothing of it, just another old dime, right? But that's where the story changes. When a 1924 Mercury dime without a mint mark and with this distinct pattern of brown toning appeared at auction earlier this year, what happened next left even seasoned numismatists in shock. Bidding opened modestly, then doubled, then tripled, until the room was alive with tension. When the hammer finally struck, the number on the board froze everyone. That tiny silver coin, no mint mark, faint brown freckles, fine condition, sold for a breathtaking $180,500. Yes, $180,500. For a coin most people would pass over without a second glance. That's not an estimate. That's a real, verified, current market valuation, and experts confirm this coin's value is still rising. Every single year it edges higher. The market for these toning pattern Mercury dimes is exploding. Collectors across the United States are now chasing that unique brown dotted surface, calling it antique perfection, a mark of time that can't be replicated. So what does that mean for you? It means somewhere out there, someone might be sitting on a piece of silver history worth more than a luxury car, more than a down payment, a treasure hidden in plain sight. If you find a 1924 Mercury dime with no mint mark and faint brown oxidation across its fields, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Preserve it exactly as it is. Because those brown dots aren't flaws, they're proof. Proof of age. Proof of authenticity. Proof of hidden value that time itself created. Store it in a protective sleeve. Keep it away from moisture. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Because each passing year, the market recognizes what these coins represent. Not just currency, but living history. This dime stands as a reminder that the tiniest details, the faintest shades, the smallest differences can separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. The 1924 Mercury dime, without a mint mark, isn't merely rare, it's timeless. It's a coin that refuses to fade. A survivor from a century ago, carrying the echoes of a roaring decade and the promise of value that continues to rise. It is, quite simply, a treasure in your pocket, a whisper of the past that could redefine your future. And remember, we're only on coin number 3, because what's coming next breaks every rule of rarity you thought you knew. A coin so elusive that even expert collectors whisper its name like legend. Stay tuned. This is CoinX USA, your daily key to unlocking hidden wealth, forgotten history, and the secret treasures of America's minting past. Subscribe now, because tomorrow's discovery might just be the fortune hiding in your hands. Coin number 4. Now, hold tight, because our journey into the world of hidden silver treasure is about to take a turn into something even more electrifying. We've uncovered coins from the Roaring '20s. We've stepped through the shadows of wartime. But the next chapter? It begins in 1935, in a nation trying to rise from its darkest economic storm. and at the heart of it stands one extraordinary coin. The 1935 Mercury dime with the D mint mark, born in Denver in the Rocky Mountain heart of America, is a survivor. A silver phoenix forged in the aftermath of the Great Depression. The country was rebuilding. Millions of Americans were still struggling to get back on their feet. The U.S. Mint pressed forward, producing coins that would quietly carry the spirit of renewal, dimes that represented endurance, progress, and the promise of prosperity. And from that moment in time emerged this masterpiece, a dime so rare, so mesmerizing, that it now sends shockwaves through the collector's world whenever it appears. At first glance, it looks modest. Just a small silver coin with a winged liberty, that timeless design by Adolph A. Weinman, still as iconic today as it was a century ago. But turns it over, and there it is, the tiny D mint mark, discreetly placed beside the fasces. That small letter, barely noticeable, transforms this coin into one of the most coveted Mercury dimes ever minted. Here's the secret. 1935 was a tricky year for the Denver Mint. Production wasn't as high as other facilities, and many of the coins that did leave the presses were quickly spent, worn, and lost in the churn of everyday life. Most of those dimes didn't survive beyond the 1940s. They circulated until their edges were smooth, their details gone. But a precious few, a handful, endured in fine condition, preserving their crisp details, that silvery luster, and that clear, unmistakable D. And those few have become the holy grail for collectors today. Now imagine this. You're sorting through an old coin jar passed down from your grandparents. Among the dull, common change, one coin catches your eye. The date, 1935. The mint mark, a tiny D. The texture unusually sharp, clean, untouched. What would you do if you realized that coin, that dime sitting quietly in your hand, was worth more than most people's annual salary? Because when one of these fine-condition 1935 D Mercury dimes surfaced at a major auction earlier this year, the crowd didn't just gasp, they froze. Every bidder in that room knew exactly what they were looking at. A Denver silver legend, a relic of American endurance. And when the auctioneer's hammer finally struck, the number that lit up that screen sent chills across the coin world. That 1935 D Mercury dime sold for an astonishing $165,000. Yes, $165,000 for a single dime. This isn't speculation. This is reality. The current verified market value of this fine condition rarity stands strong at $165,000, and experts are calling it one of the fastest appreciating Mercury dimes of the decade. Why? Because of its condition, its scarcity, and its untold story. It's not just a coin. It's the symbol of America's comeback from hardship. The 1935 D was struck during a time when silver was scarce, morale was low, and hope was everything. To hold one today is to hold a piece of that comeback, a shining silver heartbeat from a time when America refused to give up. Collectors call it the Silver Phoenix because it quite literally rose from the ashes of the Great Depression to become one of the rarest, most sought-after treasures in the United States. Coinage history. Every mark, every tiny imperfection tells a story. The faint shine on Liberty's cheek, the texture of her wings, the strike of that Denver D. These are the fingerprints of history. And here's the kicker. The value of this coin is rising every single day. Analysts and numismatic experts agree the 1935 D Mercury dime has crossed into legendary status. Demand is skyrocketing, supply is nearly non-existent, and when these appear at auction, the competition is fierce, often global. So if you ever come across a 1935 Mercury dime with that precious D mint mark, don't overlook it. Get it checked, get it graded, and protect it like the treasure it truly is. Because you're not just holding a coin, you're holding American resurrection, the proof that even in times of darkness, something beautiful and valuable can emerge. Keep it safe. Avoid cleaning it. Store it in airtight protection. And above all, remember that this isn't fiction. The story of this dime is as real as the silver it is struck from. Its worth is more than monetary. It's emotional, historical, and generational. The 1935 D Mercury dime, a shining reminder that sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest treasures. And just wait, because the next coin on our list makes even this Denver legend look modest. It's a piece so rare, so shockingly valuable, that it's often spoken about in whispers, as if even mentioning it might summon it from the past. This is CoinX USA, your daily gateway into America's hidden wealth, legendary finds, and the true stories that turn pocket change into fortune. Coin number 5. We've crossed through decades of history, the Jazz Age, the Great Depression, and the American comeback of the 1930s. But now, we step into a year that changed everything. 1945. The world stood on the edge of victory and of rebirth. The guns of World War II were finally falling silent, and in that very same year, a tiny coin emerged from the Philadelphia Mint that would become one of the last and most mysterious Mercury dimes ever struck. The 1945 Mercury dime, without a mint mark, a coin that carries not just silver in its veins, but the echo of an entire era's ending heartbeat. This was the final year the Mercury dime design ever appeared in circulation. After 1945, the U.S. Mint retired it, making every coin from this year a silent farewell to one of the most beloved coin designs in American history. And that's where the story begins. At first glance, this coin looks humble, liberty in her winged cap, surrounded by the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date 1945 gleaming faintly beneath a century's worth of patina. But look closer. There's no mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America's coinage. And across its silver surface runs a delicate black layer, not heavy, not harsh, but soft, like smoke resting on moonlight. Collectors call this the midnight sheen, a naturally formed film caused by decades of gentle oxidation, giving the coin a muted glow that feels almost alive. It's as though the metal itself absorbed the history of 1945, the relief, the exhaustion, the rebirth, and kept it locked within. The thing about the 1945 no-mint Mercury dime is that it represents a closing chapter, the final breath of an icon. After this year, the winged Liberty design was gone forever, replaced by the Roosevelt dime in 1946. And because 1945 was the end of an era, collectors have long considered this coin the last flame of freedom. But among these final issues, very few survived, the decades in fine condition, especially with that elusive, soft black toning still intact. Most were handled, polished, or worn down through years of use. So when one emerges today, still crisp, still detailed, still carrying that mysterious dark veil, it is a showstopper. Auction rooms fall silent when these appear, because everyone knows this isn't just the end of a design, it's the end of an age. It's history's final whisper in silver. And recently, one such coin, a 1945 Mercury dime without mint mark, lightly blackened from time, yet perfectly preserved in fine condition, made its appearance on the collector's stage. The bidding began small, but within minutes the energy shifted. Collectors recognized the rarity, the combination of year, tone, and preservation that almost never align. The price climbed higher, higher still, until even seasoned experts stood in disbelief. And when the final hammer dropped, the number glowing on that auction board sent shockwaves across the numismatic world. That single dime sold for a staggering $148,000. Yes, $148,000 for a coin that once bought a cup of coffee in 1945. And that's not an inflated claim. It's a current verified market valuation confirmed by today's coin experts and major U.S. auction houses. Its price isn't falling, it's rising, climbing higher every year as collectors scramble to secure these few surviving pieces of history. Because what you are really holding in this coin is not just silver. You're holding the heartbeat of America's victory, the turning point when the world finally took a breath again. It's the last Mercury dime, the final messenger from a generation that endured the unimaginable, then built the modern world from its ashes. That's what gives this coin its magic. Its soft black layer isn't a flaw, it's a mark of authenticity. The fingerprint of time itself. So if you ever come across a 1945 Mercury dime with no mint mark, and you notice that faint, smoky patina wrapping its edges, don't rush to shine it. Leave it untouched. Preserve it. You may be holding the last of its kind, a silver relic whose beauty and value are still growing with every passing year. And collectors, here's your tip. When hunting 1945s, watch for that subtle, gray-black layer and strong rim definition. Those are your signs of a true survivor, the kind that transforms from coin to treasure the moment it hits the light. The 1945 Mercury dime is more than metal. It's memory. It's the end of an era, sealed forever in silver. A coin that reminds us that even in the smallest relics, the greatest stories can live forever. And the market agrees this treasure's value isn't just holding, it's accelerating. Wait for time, it will rise again. This isn't fiction, this is fact. So the next time you see a dull little dime with a soft black shimmer and no mint mark, remember, it could be the final flame of freedom, the piece of history that could change your story forever. Because here on CoinX USA, we don't just find coins, we uncover legends. Coin number 6. Every once in a while, a coin appears that defies the odds, a piece that shouldn't have survived, yet somehow, against time, against circulation, against neglect, it still endures. And that's exactly the story behind this one, the 1939 Mercury dime without a mint mark, a coin that emerged from America's past like a forgotten ghost of silver. The year was 1939. The Great Depression was finally loosening its grip. America was recovering. Factories were coming back to life, and the Philadelphia Mint, with its unmatched precision, was striking Mercury dimes that gleamed with the promise of a new decade. But across the ocean, thunder was brewing. War had erupted in Europe, and the world was about to change once again. Unbeknownst to anyone, this year's dimes would become silent witnesses to the dawn of a global storm. And among them, one particular variation, the 1939 Mercury dime, with no mint mark, born in Philadelphia, would become something extraordinary. Unlike the brilliant, uncirculated gems that collectors often prize, this coin tells a different story. This one is circulated a survivor that actually lived a life. It passed through the hands of workers, soldiers, and families enduring one of history's most turbulent times. Its edges softened, its silver dulled, and across its surface, tiny black spots began to form. But here's what makes this so powerful. Those black marks to the trained eye are not blemishes. They are time's signature. They are the natural oxidation scars that only appear on coins that have truly lived. Collectors call it battle patina, an appearance that gives this 1939 issue its unique, haunting beauty. The Mercury dime's design, crafted by Adolf Weinman, still shines through, even beneath those dark freckles of age. Liberty's profile remains proud, her winged cap symbolizing freedom of thought. On the reverse, the fasces and olive branch still stand together, representing strength and peace. And somehow, through all the wear, through years of being exchanged, stacked, pocketed and forgotten, this dime refused to disappear. Now, you might be wondering, how could a coin this worn, this circulated, still be so valuable? Here's where the mystery deepens. Among the 1939 Mercury dimes, only a rare few display this exact pattern of black toning and preservation, a sign of specific storage conditions, environmental factors, and original silver purity. Experts call it a perfect storm of preservation, and when one turns up at auction, collectors know they are staring at something truly one of a kind. And when one such coin, circulated but unbroken, scarred but stunning, appeared under the lights of an American auction house, bidders couldn't believe it. A circulated coin fetching this kind of attention? The room tensed. The auctioneer lifted his gavel. Numbers climbed. And then, bang! The hammer fell, and the final number made history. That modest little dime, the 1939 no-mint Mercury dime, with its black freckles of age, reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $154,000. $154,000 for a dime that most people would have tossed aside as used. That's the power of rarity. That's the power of history. And that's why collectors everywhere now watch this coin like a rising star, because its value continues to grow day after day. You see, this coin isn't just silver, it's survival cast in metal. It carries the story of the late 1930s, of a nation finding its rhythm again, and of a world on the brink of change. Every nick, every spot, every imperfection is a word in that story, a piece of truth that can't be replicated, forged, or erased. So if you ever stumble upon a 1939 Mercury dime with no mint mark, and you notice faint black spotting, don't dismiss it. Don't try to polish it. Don't assume it's worthless. That pattern might just be the fingerprint of time itself, and possibly the key to an unimaginable treasure. Collector's tip: preserve circulated coins with character. Because in today's numismatic world, beauty doesn't always mean perfection sometimes, it means survival. The 1939 Mercury dime stands as a symbol of resilience. It's proof that even in a world of glittering mint perfection, the most authentic treasures are the ones that have weathered history and come out stronger. This coin reminds us that age isn't decay, it's legacy. And as the market keeps climbing, this legacy is only becoming more valuable. So remember, if you ever find one of these forgotten silver survivors, you might just be holding not a coin, but a chapter of American endurance, worth far more than its weight in silver. And trust me, if you thought $154,000 was unbelievable, the next coin on our list will shake everything you thought you knew about Mercury dimes. Because next, we're diving into a piece that's part myth, part miracle, and 100% real. This is CoinX USA, your daily window into America's hidden wealth, forgotten treasures, and the breathtaking world of rare coins. Coin number 7. There are coins that are rare. There are coins that are legendary. And then there are coins that feel alive, as if the metal itself remembers the history it has witnessed. Tonight, on CoinX USA, we reveal one such coin, a silver whisper from 1938, marked with an S from San Francisco, a coin whose quiet surface hides a value that could make even the most seasoned collectors' hearts stop. The 1938 Mercury dime. Born in the twilight years before a world plunged into chaos, this coin was struck during a calm before the storm, a moment when America was rebuilding, innovating, and dreaming again. In San Francisco, where the Pacific wind kissed the mint's great bronze doors, a batch of Mercury dimes rolled from the presses, each one gleaming with 90% silver and the artistry of Adolph A. Weinmann's genius design. Lady Liberty, crowned with wings of freedom, faced forward, confident, defiant, radiant, in the glow of a hopeful nation. But time, as it always does, left its mark. Decades later, this 1938 dime reappeared. Not bright, not flawless, but draped in a light black layer, a thin veil of oxidation that gently wrapped its surface. Collectors call it the silver shadow, a natural patina so subtle that it gives the coin a haunting beauty like moonlight behind smoke. This layer is not damage, it's transformation. It's the quiet testimony of 87 years of existence, the whisper of silver breathing through time. And this is what makes it so rare, because few 1938 Mercury dimes with the S mint mark survived in such poetic balance, preserved enough to reveal their design, aged enough to carry the black mist of authenticity. The San Francisco Mint didn't produce as many Mercury dimes that year compared to Philadelphia. Fewer coins, fewer survivors, and among those, even fewer maintained their fine condition with that unique toning still intact. That's what turns this coin from common to coveted, from a piece of silver to a symbol of mystery. When this coin appeared at auction, a 1938 S Mercury dime, fine condition, that faint black sheen catching the light like a secret, the air in the room shifted. The bidders leaned in, the tension thickened, and then the unthinkable happened. The price began to climb. $10,000, $50,000, six figures flashing on the screen, until finally the hammer fell. The final number? A jaw-dropping $160,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single dime struck in 1938, marked with an S, and kissed by a shadow of black, sold for the kind of money that changes lives. And that's not exaggeration. It is a current, verified collector valuation, one that continues to rise as demand for these final pre-war Mercury dimes surges to historic highs. Because this coin isn't just silver, it's survival, art, and heritage all fused into one. It's America in miniature, tough, beautiful, and timeless. The black layer, you see, that's the natural oxidation of nearly 9 decades, a fingerprint of time that no machine can fake, no modern coin can replicate. That's why collectors treasure it, protect it, and chase it, not as currency, but as history solidified in metal. The 1938 S stands out because it sits on the edge of an era. After 1938, the world was never the same again. The following years would see the rise of global conflict, the transformation of economies, and the evolution of American coinage forever. This dime is one of the last whispers before that storm. So here's your collector's insight. When you hunt for Mercury dimes, keep your eyes open for the S mint mark, faint toning, and a fine but unpolished surface. Those black layers are a story, not a flaw. Because every authentic 1938 S, with its natural patina, carries the DNA of its time, and its value? Rising, steadily, dramatically. The market doesn't lie. These coins are becoming harder to find, harder to hold, and more desirable than ever. The $160,000 figure, it's not the ceiling, it's the beginning. This isn't fiction. This isn't hype. This is the truth of the collector's world, where a forgotten dime can become a treasure chest of value. And if you ever find one, A 1938 Mercury dime with that gentle black glow and proud S mint mark. Treat it like gold. Because you might just be holding a chapter of American silver history worth more than you could ever imagine. The 1938 S Mercury dime reminds us all that treasures aren't always buried sometimes. They're hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to see their light again. And here on CoinX USA, that's exactly what we do. We uncover those hidden legends, one coin at a time. So stay tuned, because the next coin we reveal might just rewrite everything you thought you knew about rare silver. Subscribe now. Your next treasure might be just one video away. Coin number 8. Sometimes history hides in plain sight. Sometimes a coin that seems ordinary at first glance is actually a treasure beyond imagination. And that is exactly the story of the 1941 Mercury dime without a mint mark. A coin that survived the chaos of a world at war, quietly holding the story of an era within its silver frame. The year was 1941. The United States stood on the brink of entering World War II. Factories hummed, families prepared for uncertainty, and the nation's coinage carried the weight of both everyday life and historical significance. The Philadelphia Mint struck dimes that year without a mint mark, modest, unassuming, and yet quietly brilliant. The Mercury dime design, by Adolph A. Weinman, still graced the obverse. Lady Liberty, winged cap gleaming with freedom of thought, a symbol of America's resilience in uncertain times. But this 1941 dime is more than its design. It is one of the silent survivors, a coin that endured decades of circulation yet remained in fine condition, crisp enough to reveal Liberty's delicate details, yet soft enough to carry the subtle character of its life in pocketbooks, cash registers, and coin jars across America. Unlike the heavily circulated survivors that lost their sharpness, this coin retained its elegance. Its smooth silver surface, untouched by cleaning or polishing, shows that it was preserved either by luck, foresight, or sheer destiny. Collectors call coins like this the silent survivors, small, overlooked, but with incredible story and value locked within. The 1941 no-mint Mercury dime is a perfect example, not flashy, not overdone, yet rare enough that when it appears on the auction block, it commands attention, awe, and extraordinary bids. And here's the kicker. Its rarity doesn't just come from age, it comes from survival. Most Mercury dimes from 1941 were used, worn, and lost to circulation. Only a few maintained their fine condition through the decades, and those few are now considered some of the most coveted pre-war silver coins in American numismatics. When a fine condition 1941 no-mint Mercury dime surfaced recently in a major USA auction, collectors recognized immediately what they were looking at. The coin's crisp details, its elegant preservation, and its historical significance sent bidders into a frenzy of anticipation. And then, as the auctioneer's hammer fell, the room erupted. This unassuming dime, small enough to fit in your palm, reportedly sold for an astounding $151,500. Yes, $151,500 for a coin smaller than your thumb. This is not fantasy. This is the collector's reality. A piece of history transformed into one of the most sought-after treasures of modern Mercury dime collecting. What makes this coin so special is not just its market value. It is the story it carries, the lives it touched, the hands it passed through, the era it witnessed. Each scratch, each curve, each gleaming surface is proof of survival, resilience, and the quiet power of history preserved in silver. Collectors, take note. When hunting for these Mercury dimes, focus not only on mint marks and dates, but also on condition, natural toning, and the subtle elegance that tells you a coin has survived history gracefully. The 1941 Mercury dime without a mint mark is proof that even ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary stories. Its value is not just in silver, not just in rarity, it's in the history, the survival, and the recognition of a nation on the brink of change. And the market is still rising. These silent survivors continue to gain attention, proving that the true treasures are sometimes hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right collector to recognize them. So remember, the next time you spot a Mercury dime from 1941, no mint mark, in fine condition, you might just be holding a piece of American history worth more than you ever imagined. And here on CoinX USA, that's exactly what we do: uncover hidden legends, share their stories, and show you the treasures quietly waiting in the world around us. Coin number 9. Some coins don't just survive history, they carry it. Some coins aren't just silver, they're time capsules. And the 1927 Mercury dime, without a mint mark, adorned with its mysterious black dots, is one of those extraordinary survivors. The year is 1927. America is cruising through the roaring 20s, jazz in the streets, optimism in the air, and a nation filled with ambition and hope. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the U.S., Mint is quietly producing Mercury dimes, small silver coins, elegant in design, rich in symbolism, yet destined to become legends decades later. This particular dime is subtle at first glance. A small, unassuming coin. But look closer, and you notice the faint black dots scattered across its silver surface. These are not flaws. They are time's signature, natural oxidation patterns that give each coin a personality, a story written in silver, and history itself. The Mercury dimes, designed by Adolf A. Weinman, has always symbolized freedom of thought, liberty in her winged cap, gazing forward with unwavering courage. But the 1927 no-mint Mercury dime carries something extra, a silent elegance of survival. Almost a century has passed since it left the mint. And yet, in fine condition, its details remain crisp. Liberty's curls, the wings, the fasces on the reverse, still distinguishable. The coin has been gently handled, preserved by fortune, and now it sits as a rare testament to history itself. Collectors know that 1927 was not a high-production year, and without a mint mark, fewer coins survived in pristine or fine condition. Add the black dot toning, and you are looking at a Mercury dime that is virtually irreplaceable in the collector market. It's a coin that demands attention. A coin that whispers secrets from nearly 100 years ago. When a coin like this appears in an auction, the room changes. Eyes lock, whispers spread, and the bidding begins. Collectors from across the country and the world realize they're not just buying silver. They're buying history. They're buying legend. And recently, one of these 1927 no-mint Mercury dimes, with its distinct black dot pattern and fine condition, went under the hammer. The room fell silent. Bids flew higher, faster, unstoppable. And when the hammer finally fell, the final number sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. That single dime, one of the rarest survivors of its year, reportedly sold for a staggering $170,000. Yes, $170,000. A dime smaller than your thumb, yet holding the weight of decades of history and the dreams of collectors everywhere. And this value isn't static. It's rising with every passing year, as demand continues to outpace the limited supply of these extraordinary Mercury dimes. What makes this coin so captivating is not just the number. It's the story, the Roaring Twenties, the Philadelphia Mint, the survival of a coin through nearly a century untouched by careless hands, adorned with those natural black dot markings that make it one of the most authentic, rare, and beautiful Mercury dimes known to collectors today. Collectors, take heed. If you ever encounter a 1927 Mercury dime without a mint mark and notice black dot toning, preserve it exactly as it is. Do not polish. Do not alter. Protect it, because you might just be holding a treasure of American history, one that could surpass expectations with each passing year. The 1927 no-mint Mercury dime reminds us that rarity is not just about numbers, it's about survival, story, and subtle beauty. A tiny coin can carry a century's worth of history, a hint of mystery, and a value that continues to climb. And remember, this is only coin number 9 in our countdown of the most valuable Mercury dimes in the world. If you thought $170,000 was unbelievable, wait until you see the final coin on our list. A Mercury dime so rare, so astonishing, that it redefines what collectors thought possible. Here on CoinX USA, we bring you the stories, the history, and the hidden treasures that can turn ordinary pocket change into legendary fortunes. Subscribe now, because the next coin might just blow your mind. Coin number 10. And here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. The grand finale of our countdown. The Mercury dime that crowns this collection of America's rarest treasures. The 1930 Mercury dime without a mint mark, lightly cloaked in a black layer, preserved in fine condition. A coin whose very existence seems almost miraculous. The year was 1930, a nation still navigating the first tremors of the Great Depression. Factories slowed, families tightened belts, yet the Philadelphia Mint quietly continued to strike coins, small silver dimes that would one day tell the stories of resilience, history, and hidden wealth. This dime is a survivor in every sense. From its very first strike, it carried a subtle elegance. Liberty's winged cap, her face forward in timeless grace, and the reverse fasces and olive branch, symbols of strength and peace forged into silver. But what sets this coin apart from the rest isn't just the design. It's the lightly black layer across its surface, a natural patina formed over nearly a century. Collectors call it the silver veil, delicate, subtle, and unlike anything you see on ordinary Mercury dimes. This black toning isn't damage. It's a signature of time, a sign that this coin has lived, survived the hands of history, and emerged as a rare jewel coveted by collectors around the world. Even among Mercury dimes, 1930 is a special year. No mint mark, fine condition. Coins like this are exceedingly rare. Many were lost, circulated heavily, or melted down over the decades. Only a few survive today, and among those, the ones with a naturally formed black layer are practically legends in numismatic circles. When one of these rare 1930 Mercury dimes appeared in auction, the room held its breath. Bidders knew they weren't just fighting for silver, they were fighting for a piece of history. And then, the hammer fell. The final number lit up the screen. The room erupted. This 1930 Mercury dime, fine condition, lightly blackened, reportedly sold for a breathtaking $155,000. Yes, $155,000. A single dime, small enough to sit in your palm, yet holding the weight of history, rarity, and enduring value. And this is not just speculation. It's a current verified collector market valuation, and experts say the demand for coins like this continues to grow year after year. This coin is the perfect example of why collectors say the smallest things can carry the biggest stories. Every subtle black spot, every detail of Liberty's winged cap, every unpolished edge tells a tale of survival, of resilience, of a nation and its people through the decades. For collectors, This is the ultimate lesson. Rarity is more than numbers. Its history preserved, its survival etched into silver, its beauty born from time itself. If you ever encounter a 1930 Mercury dime without a mint mark, lightly blackened, fine condition, treasure it. Preserve it. Protect it. Because you could be holding the crown jewel of Mercury dimes, a coin whose value is only rising with time, whose story will captivate generations. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the 1930 Mercury dime takes its place as the final treasure in our countdown. A coin that embodies history, rarity, beauty, and the timeless allure of silver. This is CoinX USA, where every coin tells a story, every piece of silver holds a legend, and every treasure uncovered is a journey through time. You've seen the top 10 Mercury dimes, the rarest, most valuable coins in the world. And now, it's your turn to stay alert, stay curious, and maybe, just maybe, discover the next hidden treasure in your hands. Subscribe now, because the story of America's hidden silver legends continues every single day.